Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salim Siddiqui. And thanks for listening to the HotConflict.com video series on the great celebration, Eid al-Akbar, or Eid al-Adha, the Eid of the sacrifice, where Muslims all over the world have gathered together to celebrate the praise of their Lord, Most High, Allah, and bow their head to the Lord in the only way believers of the light do, that is, putting their head to the ground, only to the worship of the Lord. And this is happening all over the earth as Muslims are gathered, all of them facing towards the holy house in Mecca that we said Abraham and his son Ishmael built to the worship of the Lord, and that we're trying to explain why this is so important and why it is necessary for you to understand the auspicious occasion called Eid al-Adha. And we said that we are at the part of the story where I am revealing to you the truth of the whole story, because after the great Eid celebration, I asked the Lord Most High to grant me the light of the knowledge so that I could speak the words that my noble father said at some point somebody must come to speak to them in their own way and tell them the truth. And how that truth is to be done is in the way we have described it to you, in how I figured it out, and that from the beginning of time till now, the fundamentals have remained. We said that at some point the Prophet came and told his companions and followers, as every single prophet had done, that I didn't tell you of when I mentioned each prophet's tale. I mentioned that each one of them said, here are some signs of what would to come, and here are some things that are going to happen, and there's going to be great tribulations at the end. I mentioned it like that if you were listening. But I didn't tell you what I told you at this point, which is that the truth comes to a people once in all of their lifetimes, that every civilization or society is always granted by the Lord Most High, the most compassionate, the right to hear the story of the truth from the beginning to the end in their own language. Now, I'm saying that this is not new prophecy or new knowledge, not gained from any alternative sources, only from open known knowledge that is available to anyone who seeks, because we said in the story that we said there were continuous prophets till the final messenger, Muhammed, peace and blessings be upon him, and we told you why that was important in the tale, and we told you to look for some of the signs of the final messenger, and we talked about the moon and how that relates to the whole earth and the other races and how weird that is, and we told you about the Quran as established a language that should never be lost, as God taught Adam the word and the names, and that the sign is the person who tells you the truth always does so by speaking the word and telling you the whole tale. That's the indication of the truth. I haven't done any special effects or secret mysteries. I've just told you the story, and so you know that to be one of the signs now, and that each prophet did that, but the Prophet Muhammad, being the last, was given the word of the Lord Most High. And we have to understand how incredible that is, knowledge of the word and being able to speak the word, as we are the race that speaks, and God gave us the word. So we know that in all of our search for anything from the dark, that the light of the word must be even more powerful than that, because we said of all of our leaders who are searching for the moon and aliens and all of the cover-ups, any technology of anti-gravitation or supernatural powers or amulets or charms or magic, all of that is less than the power of the word. All of that is from within the universe, that which the Lord Most High created. And the Lord who is the light is higher and greater than all of that. So knowing his word is always superior, and that's always the way a person who tells the story of the truth of the light explains it. Now we got to an interesting part in the story where I said that every single prophet or teller of the truth to every community tells the story. And the signs are there marked. And we even said that since this is the first time by the will of the Lord that the story of truth is being told to you in the English language, that there will be clear proof. But we said something even weirder than that. That the reason why I was able to now understand the light and tell you the story of truth is because I had heard the story before. I had heard the story before. And I already disclosed to you that just a few days ago, I didn't know this. I might have had information, but I didn't have true ilm, or what we call knowledge of the light, until I began to tell the tale. Praise and glory is to the Lord Most High. As I began to tell the tale, more and more light began to become clear. And the information, like I said, continued to just spew out of me, and that is why I've continued to record as much as I could, as quickly as I can, so that the truth be disseminated. For, oh my Father, you prayed that your Son would know the truth, so that when the truth was told, it must be told immediately, because the person who gets the truth can't hold it in anymore. You must let it go and speak it. You can't even control it. You just have to tell it. Oh, I couldn't stop myself from talking. I couldn't even stop myself from admitting my own sins. I don't have that control because it is the power of the Lord. But the reason why this is so beautiful, oh my brothers and sisters, listen to my words, and please excuse me for losing my own personal control of my own body as the tears shed from me, that the beauty of this moment of receiving the light and understanding the whole story is greater than anything you can imagine. When I understood who I was because of my family and remembered the story, do you understand what I have known? Something more beautiful than no one has ever told me. Something more beautiful than anyone has ever told you. The secret that you have always thought and always pondered, but never could confirm. I am going to tell you the truth by the Lord Most High. When you hear this truth, you will do as I did. As any believer in the light understands, when the truth is actually made clear to them, you will fall with your head to the ground and cry as I cried, that the Lord Most High is greater than anything you could imagine, and the light of the Lord is more superior than anything we can imagine. But you, silly, daft, ignorant sons of Adam, you seek the knowledge of the dark. You seek the mysteries of technology and strange things in the universe. You seek knowledge of all kinds of things without knowing the word of the light and the truth. So now I will tell you what is the secret that you have always known, but no one has confirmed to you. I told you that if I tell you a story of the truth, it must be so amazing and blatantly obvious and incredible, but somehow, clearly, you already know it. And I said as I began to tell the tale and remembered the truth, I realized that I already knew the whole story. And I said something more amazing to you, that you have heard this story before. We said to remember the fundamentals, that there is only one God, La ilaha illallah. He is the light, higher and greater than all things. He created the angels, yes. They are made of the light. They have free will. They do not have free will. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. The devil keeps tricking me. Angels do not have free will. The shaitan, Satan, the Jinn, the other alien races, all of the other creation that God made other than the angels, and before Adam, of their various forms, they do have free will. Some of them are believers in the light and some of them not. Satan is the leader of the darkness, and around him are his minions surrounding him in darkness. All of this is a deception, and people have been deceived from the beginning of time to worship the Lord in evil and wicked ways and lose the story of the truth that you are hearing now by the will of the Lord in the English language. And they have deceived you into crosses and symbols and icons and pagan practices and triangles and many other things. And a believer in Allah, the Lord Most High, a Muslim, one who submits, following Islam, the faith of submitting to the true story, the whole story, and the understanding of the reality of the story is called a Muslim, and that is Islam. But we said that all of the fundamentals of the story must continue to be exact. And we remember the final fundamental, that all of this is by the plan and the will of Allah, that He created everything in the universe. As we say amongst Muslims, not a leaf falls or a speck of sand under the oceans. Well, I am saying to you something more amazing than that, that everything in the universe is by the will of Allah. All of it. And that the final prophet was given the word, as all people who tell the truth use the word. And at one point in his messengership, he told everybody the beginning, the middle, and the end. As all storytellers tell you, you have to give your people the beginning, the middle, the end, and tell them everything. Now, if the story I'm telling you is freaking you out, then you must know that I should be able to explain all the mysteries of the soul. But I must be able to do so in a way that is obvious to you and understandable in the tale that we have just told. Well, let's just talk about the soul real quickly so that we go through it. Is that the soul, people say, there seems to be some strange connection. Well, some people can lucid dream, some people can astral project, and there's been all these mystics throughout the ages, and there's been such fallacies and ignorances as reincarnation. We said the reason why we do not believe in reincarnation is because it goes against the fundamentals. All the sons of Adam live and die, and only our souls last forever. So what is this thing that people have memories of past lives and reincarnation? Well, we said always in the understanding is that there is misdirection and misinformation from the other side and even from within our own people. And so oftentimes, for example, in reincarnation stories, it is the other side or the devils that try to make you think you are an animal. Now, if you've listened to the story, then you should know you are supposed to remember that you are a son of Adam, a man. And in that, they have continuously tried to deceive you. Many Native American cultures and all kinds of Eastern cultures have been deceived into thinking about reincarnation, that people have been animals. Such ludicrous idiocracy is just fundamentally flawed. And no person who ever bore the truth of the light says he used to be a monkey. Remember who told us and challenged us and made us think we are of animals? Satan has always tried to deceive us into thinking that we have come from animals or made from animals. We are the greatest race. The Lord Most High has made us and breathed into us the life of the soul. So do not be deceived. Now, why is it that reincarnation is experienced, that people think they have past lives? Well, I can't tell you that mystery right now. It will be made clear in a few moments, but there are other things that we know. For example, lucid dreaming, astral projection. We've continued to tell this story and explain that we are the sons of Adam, flesh and blood of the body, and that there are other races and jinns, and they are of smokeless fire. They are in different dimensions, and if you don't understand what we've been talking about understanding different dimensions in the universe, then please go back and listen to the story. But here, just quickly, we have said that there are people who communicate with other dimensions, and we shouldn't think that they are godly or that any of the information that they get is great or superior. Unless you understand the true story of the truth of the Lord, nothing that comes from the other side is greater than the word. And all people who bear the truth will remind you of that. But we said in this story that mankind has always gotten confused, and that if we want to understand things like lucid dreaming and astral projection, we know from Islam that because we are of the soul, that the body, the physical body, sleeps. the physical body, sleeps, and the soul actually ascends and leaves the body. Now, Muslims have known this truth of reality from the beginning of 1500 years, and so have all the prophets of the light, and probably no one has told you the truth of your soul. Now, during that time, your soul can travel in other dimensions and go to anywhere it wants, and many other things. We don't want to get into the details, but understand the nature of the soul. The soul is not of the third dimension, as we call it. It is not of the body. The soul is greater than that. So what are the mysteries of the soul? Well, we've been talking about strange concepts, and we see that when the soul goes to the other dimension, it can travel anywhere within the earth. It can travel anywhere within the skies. It can travel, like the unseen world, back and forth through time, and strange imagery and pictures come, and sometimes those who have the truth of the light and understand can tell you what all of this means. And sometimes the dreams that we get are a misdirection. Just like in everything, there is light and there is misdirection, there is darkness. We have said in everything there is some truth, and everything there is some darkness. Being able to understand how to differentiate the two is only by understanding the story of truth from beginning till end. So don't be deceived. Of course you can lucid dream. Of course you can astrally project. Of course you can do all kinds of other things if you begin to understand the true nature of the light. And of course you can go through the Muslim scholars and see those who call themselves ascetics and focused on the light, that they were able to travel in time and move through space and do things that were unbelievable. And even from the Jewish rabbis, there are great people who use the word, and also from the Christians, there are great people who use the word. But differentiating between a scholar who uses darkness and a scholar who uses light is a hard task, and never be deceived from the light. And as I warn you, of all scholars, there are people who follow darkness, and all scholars, there are people who follow light. And of the Muslims, there are people who use the darkness incorrectly, when the power of truth is always greatest in the word. So we said to remember to connect all things in the story, that this war is about light versus darkness. And we said that Adam, on that very first day, was breathed of the light and raised, and that the Lord taught Adam the words and the ability to speak and say things. And since you are being given the story in the English language, I must be able to show you these proofs. And we are claiming that this story has never been heard before, and that this moment will be marked in history. But we said to understand your own soul, that you must understand the story. And we said that when I tell you the story, I know now that I remember, as the truth of a believer is a reminder to another believer, that I already knew the story. And then I said something that was even stranger. I said that you already heard this story. Well, now that I reveal to you that each and every prophet has taught their people this story that I'm now telling you for the first time, let me tell you of something else that is more amazing. As I have always claimed, every answer must be grander and so obvious, and have been clear by the story that I told. You want to understand how it is that you, after all this time, could listen to this tale that I'm telling and think that there is some light. And if you're starting to see the light, I tell you peace and blessings and openness for the light. Listen to the guidance, for it is of the truth, not from me, but by the will of the Lord. That the story that I'm telling you is only the truth. We must go back. If we really want to understand the truth of your soul, we've talked about some of the mysteries, but if you really want to know why it is that you can simply say, "Oh Lord, I seek and you shall find," why it is that if you are told the story, you will know, why it is that as I'm telling you the story, you feel the truth of the light and you remember. And I tell you, you've heard the story before. I say that we cannot see all the unseen world, and we don't know all the secrets of the universe. But we know that this story I am saying is true. To understand your own soul at this moment, you must begin to recognize what? Go back in the chain and seek your family. And that is supposed to remind you of this story, even though many of your forefathers didn't understand the whole truth from the beginning till the end, as I am revealing it to you now. At the very beginning of the story, since we are at the climax and I'm telling you the truth of your own soul, you must know as a storyteller, a person of wisdom, that the obvious truth must have been there from the very beginning. The Lord Most High doesn't just reveal the truth at the end. The truth of the light is always known from the very beginning. And what is that truth? That there is only one Lord, Most High. He is the one who created everything. Angels made of light without free will, jinns and other races with free will. Some of darkness, some that believe. Then he created us, the sons of Adam. And he taught Adam the words. And he taught Adam the words. And Adam was more knowledgeable than even the angels made of light. As the angels questioned, "Oh Lord, are you going to make a new race that is going to spread blood and mischief?" And the Lord said, "I know what you do not know." And then the Lord brought Adam in the court and showed that Adam knew more than all things and was able to speak the word. But Satan refused to bow down to Adam, the most superior race. And then the war began, and the story has been told to you. And Adam knew the story was about fighting for the light versus the darkness. But now that I get to explaining your very own soul, I must remind you that Adam taught us that there was a chain of his sons that would bear the truth and remind us of that story. And from them, I am just one of the sons of Adam, not bringing any new religion, but telling you the same message that the prophet told his companions, although some remembered it, some forgot it, some didn't understand it, and some of them memorized it. And so listen to my words today. We said, to understand your soul now, you must have been given a part of the story before. That as Adam was being brought to the court, he saw a bright and shining light. And he asked the angels, "What is that shining light?" And they said, "That is someone who is going to come." He was the Prophet Muhammad, whose followers will be greatest in number, and who more of them would bear the truth of the light. And the one who I swear as Allah, La ilaha illallah, there is no God other than him, that I understand the whole story of truth, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the final messenger. Well, how does that explain your own soul? Well, I said the Lord Most High is more compassionate and merciful than anything you could imagine. And I said in the story that Adam tried to teach his children this story because the Lord Most High told him these are going to be the fundamentals. And we said that Noah tried to teach his children, but some of them forgot. And Abraham really tried to teach his children and establish the house, but some of them forgot. And Jacob and Isaac and Ishmael and Joseph, who had the ability to lucid dream and understand all the mysteries of the soul, by the way, since we're there. All of the story should make sense. And Moses and David and Solomon and all of the details of their stories and how this whole story of truth is being revealed to you. And then we got to the Prophet Muhammad and showed why he was the seal of the messengers, bearing the true gifts, and telling us this story of truth that I am telling you. And we said that Adam knew this and tried to warn his sons. But I said, when you receive the truth of the light, as I now understand it, and only by the grace of the Lord, that I remembered the story. And I told you, you will now accept the truth of the light because you recognize the truth of my story for the first time in your language, and you know that you have heard this story before. Now I will tell you the part of the tale that you did not know. When the Lord Most High created Adam from mud and clay and breathed him of the light, we said Adam saw another light, and that was the soul of the Prophet Muhammad. Now I will tell you the tale that no one has ever told you before. Every single soul that the Lord Most High had created was there at that time, from the very beginning. We said you must remember the fundamentals. La ilaha illallah, there is only one God. We have continued to tell you the story and the tale, and we told you through the whole time, remember the most important fundamental, more important than the angels, and more important than the Jinns, more important than us as Adam, more important than we live and we die, more important that we will be raised up, more important than the day of judgment and punishment and reward, more important than heaven and hell, is the final fundamental, that your Lord is Most High. And all of this is by the plan and knowledge of your Lord. And so the story of truth, if it is ever told as it is being told now, reveals the truth of your soul. That when Adam was created and his soul was placed into him and breathed of the light, that the soul of Muhammad already existed. But so did your very own soul. What? My soul already was there? Yes. Think of it. Your soul of the light. Try and remove the darkness that shrouds you. Your soul was already there and has always been in existence. From the moment the Lord created your soul, everything that happens on the earth is just a function of time, and time is a creation of the Lord. From the very beginning, your soul had existed. But the next part is even more tripped out. I will tell you what really happened. Do you know that from Adam, the Lord Most High took from his spine the genetic fluid, or the royal DNA, or what we were told of, to form every son of Adam? Every single flesh and body has been formed and placed within it the soul. What? That is how our souls are all interconnected. But now I will tell you something that is crazier. At this moment, when this happened, all of us, every single son of Adam, as I have continued to tell you, when someone tells you the story of the truth, it is beyond any tale. Every single one of us was there, and every single one of our souls was told this story. All of us heard the story, all of us heard the fundamentals, and all of us were told the tale. And all of us asked, would we believe in the Lord Most High? And all of us swore to it. So say we all. But now, the darkness has made us forget.